The merchandise is cute, right? That stuff is cute. It's just less stressful, and we don't want stress. We want to... Please, make sure you tell Chandu I love him. What is that? I've never seen that before. That looks really good. I'm gonna have to try that next time I'm there. Oh, hey, there you are. Oh no, don't worry, you're not late. You're just in time. You have your pen and paper ready? Awesome. I heard through the grapevine that you're visiting Tokyo Disney for the first time and you're looking for some first-timer tips. Well, you've come to the right place. I have all the tips for you, all the essential tips to help you plan your trip, your very first trip to Tokyo Disney. And I'm so excited to help you. It's my favorite place in the world. So when we get started. Okay, let's start off with telling you to forget everything you know about Disney parks. I know, you're thinking, Chris, what are you talking about? Yeah, things are done very differently here. So if you've been to Disney World, if you've been to Disneyland Paris, been to those parks, a lot of it doesn't apply here at Tokyo Disney. And the reason for that is because Tokyo Disney Resort isn't run by the Walt Disney Company. It's actually owned and operated by a Japanese company called the Oriental Land Company. They have their own way of doing things, so that's why things here work very differently. So all the stuff I'm about to tell you is a lot easier to kind of process if you get it out of your mind how things work at the other parks. So think of it as a completely brand new experience, and hopefully things will make sense a little bit easier. The first thing I want to tell you is to buy your tickets in advance, okay? That is the first thing you need to do because you need a ticket to go into the park, right? So tickets go on sale 2 months in advance, and they're available through the Tokyo Disney Resort website and app. They're one and the same, so if you buy it through the app or the website, it's just going to automatically show up in the app as long as you log in with the same account that you bought it with. And you can buy multiple tickets too for multiple people, so you can manage everyone in the same app. It's pretty straightforward. The other option is if you're staying at a Tokyo Disney Resort hotel, you can actually wait and buy your tickets when you arrive, because you'll actually get like a physical ticket. That's the only way to get physical tickets. The only thing is you have to scan it into the app, and you can buy tickets on your check-in day and your checkout day. You're covered. So, if you want to wait until you get here, that's also an option. Another option is also buying your tickets through third parties like Klook. They offer tickets for Tokyo Disney Resort, and they take a multitude of payments. So if you have issues with your credit card with the Tokyo Disney Resort website with buying tickets, there's a good chance it'll work with Klook. And speaking of Klook, they are this video's sponsor. Klook has been my go-to platform for booking incredible travel experiences since 2016. Klook is easy to use with its app and website. You'll be able to find everything you need from theme parks to Wi-Fi and even hotels. Everything is available in your own currency and language, making it really easy to understand. Klook also offers a variety of discounts on a regular basis to help your money go even further. If you download and use the app, you can have all of Klook's great discounts right at your fingertips. If you've been watching my channel for a little while, you're probably aware that how difficult it can be to buy theme park tickets, especially for Tokyo Disney Resort. With Klook, you'll be able to easily book your tickets for Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo DisneySea all in one convenient place. Once you have your tickets, you just scan them into the Tokyo Disney Resort app, and you're ready to enjoy all the great attractions the parks have to offer. Give Klook a try today by following my affiliate link in the description below, or by scanning the QR code you can see on the screen. And thank you to Klook for sponsoring this video. If you're planning to do multiple days at Tokyo Disney, then I think it's a really good idea for you to stay at or near Tokyo Disney Resort, just so you can get to the park early enough and you don't have to deal with like the morning rush and everything with public transit. It's just going to make your life easier, honestly. So check out all the different hotel options. You can stay at one of the Disney hotels, or you can stay at one of the official hotels that are along the monorail line, and you have easy access to the parks. And probably more importantly, at the end of the night, nobody wants to commute, another hour just to get back to your hotel in central Tokyo or anything. Just stay at or near the resort. It's just going to make your life easier, honestly. And there's also hotels that are one station away along the Keio line, which is the train line that you're going to be taking if you take the train here. And there's also hotels there. There's a multitude of hotels that you can choose as well. Some of them have shuttles directly to the park, or you can just take one train stop away to Maihama Station, which is the station at Tokyo Disney Resort. So if it's within your budget, I would look at the hotels around there because there's a lot of options, and honestly, it's just going to make your life easier if you do that. And I know you're probably thinking, Chris, what about our luggage? Well, you can transfer your luggage. You can have it shipped. So if you're moving to Tokyo Disney Resort, you can talk to, there's different like luggage shipping companies. You can talk to them and see if they can ship it to Tokyo Disney Resort, like one of the hotels there, one of the other hotels. You can do that. That's also an option. And if you want to move around hotels as well, you can do that. And if you're moving between like Disney hotels, they will transfer your bags between most of the hotels. The Tokyo Disney Resort vacation packages do make things easier, but they're not always necessary, right? So really quickly, the Tokyo Disney vacation package is like an all-in-one package that you can make a reservation for. And that includes your hotel, your park tickets, breakfast at the hotel, exclusive merchandise, unlimited drinks, soft drinks during your visit, and also comes with like different types of passes to skip the line at certain attractions and like popcorn and things of that nature. So it's a very convenient package, but you are paying for that convenience, and it's only a maximum of 2 nights or 3 days. The price does start to creep up with that because of course you're paying for everybody in your party and everything like that. So if it's within your budget, it's a good option to look at, but you don't necessarily always have to get it. So if you're someone that is maybe looking to reduce costs, maybe you want to do a longer trip in Japan, you don't want to allocate too many funds to Tokyo Disney Resort, like I totally get that. So you could definitely do things a lot cheaper if you didn't do the vacation package. You'll just have to be a little more on the ball in terms of planning and knowing how things work within the resort. The vacation packages are more of like a set it and forget it type of solution, all-in-one solution. If you don't want that, you could do everything a little bit cheaper by booking, a Tokyo Disney hotel or a non-Disney hotel. I do have videos on it, so I've done the vacation packages before, so I'll pop it on the screen if you want to go and check it out. As for pricing, it's best to check the Tokyo Disney Resort website because the pricing ranges a lot depending on the room type, how many people are in your party, if there's children in your party, or if it's all adults, the time of year. So it fluctuates wildly. So I recommend checking the Tokyo Disney Resort website and see if it's right for you. Okay, this next part is going to be a little, dare I say, convoluted, but it's absolutely necessary for your trip. So I'm going to try and explain it the best I can in the most simplest way. So the Tokyo Disney Resort app is essential for your visit. You're going to be pretty much using it throughout the entire time. It's going to manage your tickets. It's going to manage all the different skip the line services and things of that nature. But first, I want to say you need to have data on your phone or a pocket Wi-Fi. So get yourself an eSIM or a SIM card or a pocket Wi-Fi, because there's no Wi-Fi throughout the entire park, Tokyo Disneyland or Tokyo DisneySea. So you don't want to be without data on your phone. There is Wi-Fi at the front of both parks, but you're not going to be hanging out in the front of the park the entire time, right? So don't rely on that. Make sure you have something to connect your device so you're not kind of stuck without being able to use your phone. So you can scan multiple tickets into the app. So if you have a physical ticket for whatever reason, so if you bought it through the hotel at your Tokyo Disney Resort hotel, or you bought the ticket off of Klook that has a QR code, you can scan them into the Tokyo Disney Resort app, and you can scan multiple people's tickets into the app. It's pretty straightforward, and you can manage everybody's day within your app. So if you have little explorers with you, you can scan their tickets in, or if you want to manage other people's tickets, you can totally do that. You can even create a group. So let's say you have friends and everyone bought their own tickets, however they did it. You can create a group within the app and send the link to the friends, and they can click on it and it should magically just work. If it doesn't, check the TDR website because they'll have like the Q&A and troubleshooting on there if you run into any problems. So I want to tell you about all the different services that are available within the app and the stuff that you're probably going to be using the most. And for the next stuff I'm going to be talking about, so that's going to include the Disney Premier Access, the Standby Pass, Entry Request, the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass, and the Disney Mobile Order. Those are all done when you're inside the park. You don't do it ahead of time. It's not like the parks in the US where you can do some stuff ahead of time, like making selections ahead of time. That doesn't happen with these services. You do it once you're scanned into the park. Once you go through those turnstiles, you have to be in the park for these services to work. So it kind of makes things a little bit easier because you don't have to worry too much about things beforehand. You just worry about it on the day. The first one I want to tell you about is the Disney Premier Access. The best way to describe it is it's kind of like a paid lightning lane. You pay to skip the line through a priority line, so you skip the regular standby queue. So rides like Beauty and the Beast or Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey, Journey to the Center of the Earth, those kind of attractions, you pay a fee for everybody in your party, so it's per person, and then you get to skip the line once and yeah, get through the attraction really quickly. And as long as they are available, you can buy multiple ones for different attractions. So if you really wanted to, you could kind of get through everything really quickly if you just wanted to pay to skip the line on the day of your visit. Next, we have the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass. The naming is a little confusing. I hope they drop the 40th Anniversary naming because it's not the 40th anniversary anymore. It was introduced last year during the 40th anniversary of the resort. It's called the Priority Pass. The best way to think of it is a digital fast pass. So you don't pay extra. It's free. Like once you're in the park, you can get it. If it's available for an attraction, you can get it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And you get to skip the queue. So this is usually on attractions that don't have the Disney Premier Access. They'll have the Priority Pass. So rides like Pooh's Honey Hunt have the Priority Pass. And as long as they're available, you can get multiple ones for different attractions. So this is another way to skip the regular line if you don't want to wait in the regular standby line. So with the Disney Premier Access and the Priority Pass, if you don't have those, you can wait in the regular standby line for most of the attractions. Now this is where things get a little confusing, so I'll do my best to make it really simple to understand because even I get confused sometimes. There is the Standby Pass. This Standby Pass is used for some restaurants, some shops, and also some attractions. So for the shops and restaurants, it's not always used, and this is done through the app and it doesn't cost anything extra, but it's usually turned on for some shops and restaurants if it's a new merchandise release. So if there's like a Duffy merchandise release or something like Halloween or Christmas, like there's a big merchandise release, they'll turn it on for like the shop that has that specific merchandise, and you have to get a standby pass through the app to be able to go into that shop or that restaurant. Some of the restaurants will have like little souvenir plates. It's usually with the Duffy stuff at Cape Cod at Tokyo DisneySea. So you don't need to worry about it too much. The likelihood of that happening during your visit is a little low, but you can always check the TDR website because they will list like when it's going to be turned on for certain restaurants or shops, and that usually means like there's a merchandise release. But also that means the other shops you can come and go as you please. Like there's nothing for you to do. You just walk in like normal. It's just they may not have some of that merchandise yet. Like Halloween or Christmas, that might not be in there just yet. It will eventually go in there, but maybe not right away. That's just what they do for, I guess, crowd control. Standby Pass is also used for some attractions, and if it's on for an attraction, that means there's no regular standby line, meaning you can't just walk and wait in the line. You have to get a standby pass to wait in the line. That's kind of where things get a little confusing. Now that applies to Fantasy Springs, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's just generally how that works. And again, it doesn't cost anything extra. The next one is Entry Request. The best way to think of this is a lottery, and this is for shows. So some shows have an entry request for their different show times. So it's mostly shows that are indoors, like a theater show. This doesn't apply to parades or anything. And also some character greetings. Again, it's stuff that's inside a building. Like Mickey's Magical Music World and Big Band Beat. Those are two of the shows that do have the entry request. And you can try just once for the show, and if you don't get it, you can't watch the show. I know, it kind of sucks, but that's just what it is. However, usually the first showing of the show, you can just wait in regular standby, so you don't need to do the entry request thing. You can just wait in a regular line. That's usually for the first show. Just check the Tokyo Disney Resort website because it'll have all that information there for you. Next up is the Disney Mobile Order. This is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of the counter service restaurants offer mobile order, so you can mobile order your food ahead of time and pick a time frame as to when you want to pick up your food. And it's not necessary to take out. Some restaurants will allow you to do that, but it's more just to order ahead of time, and then you can get yourself a table inside the restaurant, and then you have a minimal wait to get your food without having to wait in the regular line with people that are ordering in person. I love using it. I think it's quite convenient, and it's just nice to be able to order ahead of time with a time frame and everything. It just makes everything easier. The app also shows wait times, not just for attractions or character greetings, but it also shows it for restaurants, which I think is really handy. And there's also park maps within there because there's no physical maps anymore, unfortunately. I kind of miss the physical maps. And you can also do like your hotel. You can even do hotel reservations if you wanted through it. You can also do restaurant reservations too. Speaking of restaurant reservations, that's another really good tip. If you want to dine at a table service restaurant, make your reservation in advance. You can do it 30 days in advance. You can do it right through the app, or you can do it through the website. Just make sure you're all logged in there. That's the best way to get a reservation if you don't have a vacation package. A vacation package, that's a whole other can of worms. But generally 30 days in advance, and you can make a reservation for a restaurant. On the day of your visit, they actually open up more seating at 9 a.m. and you can do that through the Tokyo Disney Resort app as well. You can make a reservation, or you can go to the restaurant at 10 a.m. and you can see if there's any open tables that way. Some restaurants will let you wait in a standby line, some won't. It just really depends on the crowds and the restaurant. So it's always just best to check if you want to wait. If you just go up to the cast members and ask, they'll be able to help you out. How to get to Tokyo Disney Resort. Okay, well, you're going to be flying into either Narita or Haneda Airport, and my best tip for you is to take the limousine bus. So if you're going to Tokyo Disney Resort as soon as you arrive, take the limousine bus from either airport. It is the easiest way, and they have multiple buses throughout the day, and it's just going to make your life easier. Then that way you're not dealing with having to take the train. As soon as you land after 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 plus hour of transit, you're going to be tired, right? I know I would be. I've been in that position before. So take the limousine bus. There's also a taxi as an option, but I would use it as a last resort because it's going to be very expensive. I'm talking like a couple $100 expensive. It's not cheap. Taxis in Japan are not cheap at all. So I would really only use that as a last resort. You can also take the train as well. You're just gonna have to navigate a little bit. Google Maps is your best friend in this case. Speaking of trains, if you're taking the train to Tokyo Disney Resort, you're gonna be going to Maihama Station, which is along the JR KO line. And once you're there, you can take the monorail to get to various Tokyo Disney and other Disney hotels. So the monorail is not free, you gotta pay for it. And the best thing to do is to use an IC card, which is a transportation card. So you may have heard of them, Suica, Passmo, those are the most common ones. The easiest, honestly, just get them on your phone. Most people should be able to get them on their phone now. Both iOS and Android should work with it. There's various ways to do it, but through the wallet on iOS, that's the easiest way. You can add a Suica card, and then you can use Apple Pay to top up your card, and you can just tap everywhere you go. But also with the monorail, you can get a really cute day pass that has different designs. If you just look on top of the ticket machine at the monorail station, you can see what design you'll get. So if you're planning to ride the monorail more than 3 times in one day, it's going to be worth buying a day pass. You can also buy multiple day passes as well, depending on how much you really plan to loop around that cute little monorail. You will be using the monorail a lot, going from your hotels and stuff. Just use the monorail. It's good. It's going to be your best friend, and it's also really cute. So yeah. Speaking of Suica and Passimo, paying for things in the park. So my best tip for you is have 2 credit cards, okay? Have yourself 2 credit cards at least, just in case one doesn't work. The likelihood of your credit cards not working is pretty low inside the parks. I know I mentioned before that you could have problems with the website, but within the park, it's gonna be, usually it's fine. There's less issues inside the park, and in the last few years, contactless payments have become the norm, and you can use your credit cards to your heart's desire to pay for things, because you're probably going to be buying a lot of merchandise. The merchandise is cute, right? That stuff is cute. The stuff is cute. The stuff is cute. The stuff is cute. So you're probably using that credit card a lot, or both your credit cards a lot, to buy stuff. You can use Apple Pay inside the park. I'm not sure about Google Pay because I don't have a Google phone. But if you're someone that has used Google Pay, please tell me in the comments if it has worked for you. But if you're wanting to use Apple Pay in the park, my tip for you in that sense is don't say Apple Pay, because the likelihood of the cast member understanding what you mean is pretty slim, because Apple Pay is not like that common. It's starting to become more common, but it really isn't. If you just tell them credit card, then the little terminal has the touch on it, and that will work with your Apple Pay. I do that every time, and I can't think of a time where it hasn't worked for me. So it should work for you too. Just remember, your mileage may vary, and just have a backup in terms of payment. Have cash on you. Make sure you have cash on you, just in case something happens or you need to pay for something in cash. It does happen, but most things at Tokyo Disney you can pay for with a credit card. Even at small little snack stands now, everything is credit card. Or you can also use your IC card, your Suica or your Passimo. That's taken everywhere too. Like you use it at the vending machines, you can use them at the snack carts. It's a good way to, like if you have little explorers with you, you can give them an IC card with a little bit of money on it. And then that way you don't have to deal with cash and stuff like that. So have a little bit of both. That's probably the biggest tip. Have credit cards, have an IC card, and have some cash. Speaking of credit card issues, if you have an issue with the Tokyo Disney Resort like app or anything, I recommend getting the Wise card. The Wise card is I guess like a MasterCard or Visa debit card, depending on which country you live in. And that does work with the Tokyo Disney Resort website and app, but I've seen it work more often than not for people. So again, your mileage may vary with this, but if your credit card didn't work in the app, you can use a Wise card and use it to pay for like mobile order and your Disney Premier Access and your hotel and your tickets and stuff. So that's also another option. I'll put a link in the description for you, so if you want to get yourself a Wise card. This is a really good tip. Check the restaurant menus ahead of time through the Tokyo Disney Resort app. I know I keep going back to that, but there's a ton of information in this thing. So very recently, they made the restaurant menus available in English. It wasn't for the longest time. It was quite recently, within the last few months. So it makes it so much easier to check what food is available at the restaurants at Tokyo Disney. There's a wide range of food. It's not just Japanese food. Like, don't worry, there's also Western options as well. There's stuff like burgers and fries and chicken nuggets and ice cream, Mickey waffles. There's that stuff too. And if you want, there's also, things like ramen and noodles and rice dishes and things like that. So don't you worry, there's a wide variety of food available, and check it through the app so you can kind of browse from the comfort of your own home. You can sit here and just kind of browse through and see what you want to eat. Oh, another good tip is if you have food allergies, you can go to the Tokyo Disney Resort website, and they actually have an allergen website that lists all the menu items at a restaurant with the different allergens in them, so you can know ahead of time what you can and can't eat depending on your allergies. So that's a really good tip. As for plant-based options, they're getting better at offering more. Like, as time goes on, I'm seeing more plant-based options being added to the menu, but there's still not a ton. So going through the Tokyo Disney Resort app again, going through the menus, you're gonna find where all the plant-based menu items are. Not every restaurant has them, but they're getting better. They're getting better. If there's one tip I could give you, if you don't listen to anything else I say, one thing that I wanna tell you, arrive early for everything. Arrive early. Don't arrive just on time. Don't arrive late. If you arrive early for everything, it's just going to make your life so much easier. Trust me, if you think you're early, you're not. There's people that are going to be much earlier than you. So when I say that, you're probably thinking like, well, when should I arrive at the park then? Okay. Well, the park usually opens at 9. I'll get into that in a second when I say usually. You probably want to be in line, I want to say between 7 and 7:30. That's if you want to have the best opportunity to get Disney Premier Access and Standby Pass for Fantasy Springs, which I'll talk about in a second. And also, you get first go at going into standby for a lot of the attractions before the wait times get too high. And it's just nice to knock out things early. And especially if you're a hotel guest, you get in 15 minutes early before everybody else. So just do everything early, and then the rest of the day is less stressful. Just less stressful. We don't want stress. We want to... So what I mean by usually opens at 9. Okay, this is like the worst kept secret ever. So the official hours for the Tokyo Disney Resort parks, Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo DisneySea, as of this recording, is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But they almost always open the park early, depending on the crowds and the day. Like if it's a weekend or whatever, they may start letting you in at 8:45 or 8:30 or 8:15 if you're a regular day guest. And unfortunately, there's no way to know when that's going to happen. So that's why I say, like, you should maybe try and get there between 7 and 7:30 if you're keen. Latest is 8. Like, really, latest is 8. 8, okay? But if you're a hotel guest, you get to go in 15 minutes before everybody else. So all the times, just shift it 15 minutes backwards. The cool thing about that is if you're a Disney hotel guest, they will tell you ahead of time which time you get to go in. So they'll give you a piece of paper that tells you the time that you get to go in. It's always going to be 15 minutes before everybody else, and you have a special entrance that you get to go in. So you probably don't need to arrive there that early, but let's just choose 8 a.m. If you get to go in at 8 a.m., I would say between 7 and 7:30, that's probably good enough, honestly. Like, yeah, there's going to be people ahead of you and everything, but you're probably going to be waiting in the security line anyway. So you're still going to be ahead of everybody else. So enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy your breakfast at the hotel. Remember, you're on vacation. So you're probably thinking, when should we visit? Well, the biggest tip, I should say, no matter what time of the year you're visiting, visit during the week. So visit between Tuesday and Friday, okay? And you're probably thinking, Chris, why not Monday? The reason Monday is Mondays can be really hit or miss, because if there's something happening with like the schools, like if kids have like a sports day or something on the weekend, then usually they get the Monday off, which makes the parks busy. Or if a national holiday or some sort of holiday falls on a weekend, then it's usually pushed to the Monday, and it just makes the Mondays busier. So it's just a safer bet just to pick between Tuesday and Friday. Now, don't worry, like if you have to go on a Monday or on a weekend, not all is lost. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it too much. Just get there earlier. Get there a little bit earlier. Just what I just talked about. Get there earlier, and the fact that you're listening to me talk about all this stuff, you're good. You're good. But let me break it down for you. Times of the year that you should probably avoid. March is pretty busy the entire month just because it's spring break for kids in Japan. So there's going to be a lot of people visiting. The parks are just generally very busy. And then going into April is busy as well because of cherry blossom season. A lot of people come to visit. So you kind of have to decide, do you want to see cherry blossoms and have it a little bit busier? You kind of have to make that decision. There's also the Lunar New Year, which is usually like end of January into February. That makes it busy for inbound tourists from a lot of different countries. So that's also a factor. Then we have Golden Week, which is at the end of April into May, and it's a string of holidays. Generally, you just want to avoid that time. Some years, Golden Week is not as busy as others, but just avoid it. Just make your life easier. Just avoid it. And then we have the summertime. It's just hot. It's just hot. July and August into September is just hot. It is hot. It is hot. So I don't know, unless you really love the heat, I would I would personally avoid it if you can. Then the other major time is during September. There is also Silver Week, so it's like a week of holidays. It's kind of similar to Golden Week. It's just a string of holidays, and usually it's like a week off or something like that. And then December 26th into the first week of January is going to be busy. Everyone is off work, off school. It's a family holiday for the new year here in Japan. So everyone is traveling everywhere, and it usually just makes for a busy parks. My next tip is knowing that you cannot just simply walk into Fantasy Springs. I've done very in-depth videos about how to get into Fantasy Springs, so I'm going to go over this very generally for you. I'll put the video up here so you can go and watch that later. But to get into Fantasy Springs, it's the newest area at Tokyo DisneySea. So it's part of Tokyo DisneySea. You're going to need, Tokyo DisneySea ticket. But to get into the area, you have to get a standby pass or Disney Premier Access for one of the 4 attractions. And when you get that, you'll be given an entry time into Fantasy Springs. You cannot just walk into Fantasy Springs without that as of this recording. And then you have to have a standby pass or Disney Premier Access for the attractions to ride them. So if you only have it for one attraction, that's the only attraction that you can ride. Again, at the time of this recording. Hopefully that changes at some point, but that's currently how it works. And with the restaurants, the 3 restaurants in there, you have to do mobile order. You can't just walk in as well. So you have to do a mobile order to be able to eat in the restaurant. I know. It's a little convoluted. Don't worry, if you watch the video that I did, you'll be perfectly fine. Most people that I know that have gone have been able to get into Fantasy Springs. So I think your chances are pretty good that you're going to get in there. There's also a vacation package that you can get that will give you guaranteed entry into Fantasy Springs. So I did that also a few months ago. So I have a video on that you can watch as well. I'll put the playlist on the screen for you so you can watch that, how to do all the Fantasy Springs stuff. My next tip is knowing that one day is not enough. Now, of course, this is really situational. It really depends on, of course, multitude of things, like how much time you have, budget, all that kind of stuff. But generally, you're not going to be able to do everything in one day. There's no park hopper tickets, so you're going to have to do one park or the other. If you have to choose between Tokyo Disneyland or Tokyo DisneySea, oh, that's really up for debate. I'd probably go with DisneySea. Go with DisneySea, I would say. Go with that, because there's Fantasy Springs. But then there's Disneyland, and they have the Electrical Parade, and Beauty and the Beast, and Pooh's Honey Hunt. See, even I can't even make up my mind. But generally speaking, it's best, I would say, like at minimum 2 days. So you can do one day at Disneyland, one day at DisneySea. Ideally, 3 or 4 days. I don't really think you need any more than 4, especially if you're doing other things in Japan. You should go do other things in Japan. Japan's a wonderful place. I've been living here for 10 years and I haven't even seen everything in this country. So yeah, 4 days I say is probably the max you want to do, and then you can do 2 days at either park and you'll be covered. I think you'll be able to do pretty much everything within 4 days. This is a critical tip that helps you decide when to visit, other than, knowing when it's busy and all that kind of stuff. Check the seasonal event calendar and also the ride closures. So the seasonal events calendar, we have it up on our website, and also the TDR website has it available as well. So you know when the seasonal events are happening, because there's events happening pretty much all the time. Probably the most popular are Halloween and Christmas. So you want to check those when they happen. Actually, this year they changed Halloween from starting in September to actually October now. I think it's because it's been way too hot. And then right after Halloween, we go into Christmas, and Christmas only goes until December 25th. After December 25th, it's like Christmas didn't exist. Decorations, all that are gone. And food and merchandise also comes out at different times. So it gets a little confusing. Just check our website because we have all that information for you. And there's also other events and stuff too. Probably the biggest thing though, the biggest thing is checking the ride closures, because that may make you have to reconsider things or maybe move things around if you can. They typically release everything 6 months ahead of time. I know that's not too far ahead, but 6 months is better than nothing. and they'll tell you what attractions are closed. So if you need to make adjustments to your trip or something, or maybe let's say something was closed at the beginning of your trip when you went to Disney, but then it's reopening like at the end of your trip, maybe you decide to come back for half a day or a day or something, and you can knock out that one attraction. I know people have done that before. I've had friends that have done that. Here's another fantastic tip for you. Here are some things you shouldn't miss. This is not an exhaustive list because that's a whole other video and I'll be here forever. But at Tokyo DisneySea, a couple of things you shouldn't miss. Of course, Fantasy Springs, do not miss that. I think you should not miss Journey to the Center of the Earth. Wonderful attraction. It's exclusive to Tokyo Disney. Tower of Terror. I know you're thinking, well, we have Tower of Terror at home. Yes, but ours, I'm sorry, I think ours thematically is the best one. I mean, you get to see Joe Rohde as Harrison Hightower. That's where SCA started, if you know what SCA is. That's at all the Disney parks around the world now. It started with Harrison Hightower in the Tower of Terror. So you need to see where the OG came from. And other attractions there, like the Venetia gondolas and the electric railway and the transit steamliner. I mean, pretty much everything at DisneySea. Just ride everything at DisneySea. As for restaurants at DisneySea, Magellan's is a top pick for me, and also the Teddy Roosevelt Lounge. Those need reservations. Restaurant di Canaletto is really wonderful. Then we have Volcania. I can list so many restaurants at Tokyo DisneySea. The restaurants are so good. Another favorite of mine is also the Dockside Diner. That's a good one. As for entertainment at DisneySea, don't miss Believe Sea of Dreams. That's the nighttime show. It is really, really good. You can skip the fireworks, honestly. The fireworks at Disneyland, DisneySea are not that great, and they usually get canceled anyway because of the wind or whatever. If you've seen fireworks at other Disney parks, the ones here are kind of lackluster. It's nice to have, it's nice when they happen, but don't make a point of watching them. Just like be in the area. I'm like, oh, there's the fireworks. Oh, that was cute. And then just move on with your life. And then over at Tokyo Disneyland, oh my goodness, do not miss Beauty and the Beast. Do not miss Pooh's Honey Hunt. Do not miss the Electrical Parade Dreamlights. Do not miss Harmony and Color. Do not miss Monsters Inc. Those are all good attractions. And Baymax. Don't miss the Happy Ride Baymax. It's really cute. As for restaurants, Queen of Hearts Banquet Hall, Grandma Sarah's Kitchen. We have a Hungry Bear Restaurant, which has Japanese curry, which is delicious. Center Street Coffee House. Do not miss that either. It's so good. So good. They have a dessert plate that's seasonal, and the dessert is actually really, really good. It's usually pretty good. I had the one with Donald Duck a few months ago, and it was superb. If you want immaculate vibes at Tokyo Disneyland in terms of a restaurant, Camp Woodchuck is probably one of my favorite thematic restaurants at Tokyo Disneyland. It just feels like you're at Camp Woodchuck. You're in the wilderness. You're in a log cabin. You're eating food. What more do you want? There's even a fake fireplace. That's wonderful. And we also have the Great American Waffle Company that has delicious waffles, which I think are the best Mickey waffles at any Disney park. And I will always, always stand by that. When you get into the park, what's the first thing you should do? So over at Tokyo Disneyland, the first thing you should do once you get into the park is get on the app and get yourself a priority pass for Pooh's Honey Hunt. Don't miss that attraction. It is so good. And once you got that, go into the standby line for Beauty and the Beast, especially if you're there early. If you're there early, like I tell you to, the wait should be pretty minimal for Beauty and the Beast. And you want to see the regular queue for Beauty and the Beast because it is really good. If you get the Disney Premier Access for it, you're going to skip a lot of that inner queue because there's some stuff in there that I think is really good that you shouldn't miss. You're probably going to want to ride Beauty and the Beast again. So if you want, get a Disney Premier Access for Beauty and the Beast for later in the day so you can go and do it again. And this time, since you did the regular queue and you saw everything already, then I think it's fine that you skip most of the queue the second time around. While you're waiting in line at Beauty and the Beast, so buy your next Disney Premier Access for Beauty and the Beast if you want, but also, this is optional, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you can reserve your spot for some of the parades, then you have a spot to sit and you can kind of show up last minute because your spot is there waiting for you because you paid for it. You can do that for Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade Dreamlights or Harmony and Color. Some of the seasonal parades will also do that, but The first two I mentioned. If you don't want to like line up early, you can pay extra and get yourself reserved. I do recommend doing that, like buying it earlier, just because that stuff does tend to sell out. If you don't want to buy that, that's okay too. You should probably show up for these parades probably half an hour to a half hour early. That way you can get like, a decent spot in front of the castle. Over at Tokyo DisneySea, first thing, you're gonna have to try and get yourself a standby pass and or Disney Premier Access, preferably both, for Fantasy Springs. So you can have a Disney Premier Access and also a standby pass because they're independent of each other. So get that for Fantasy Springs first so that you can get that all sorted and figured out. And then once you got that done, head on over to the standby line for Journey to the Center of the Earth and ride that attraction because it is wonderful. And just like at Tokyo Disneyland, while you're waiting in line at Journey to the Center of the Earth, get yourself a Disney Premier Access for a spot for the Believe Sea of Dreams show. That is usually later in the evening. If you don't want to get there an hour to half hour early, you can just reserve your spot. If you don't want to do that, there's plenty of space around the harbor at Tokyo DisneySea, so you can get a spot if you don't want to pay extra for a seat. For the parades at Tokyo Disneyland, I don't usually get the Disney Premier Access because I'll usually just find a spot along the parade route. But for Believe Sea of Dreams, I do tend to buy the Premier Access for that because I like being kind of like center of everything and kind of you get like the best seat in the house basically. So if you're kind of humming and hawing which one to do, I would go with Believe Sea of Dreams. Don't worry too much about the language barrier. I know you're probably worrying, I don't speak Japanese, Chris. Am I going to be okay? I don't know. I'm nervous. Don't be. Cast members are very friendly. Japanese people are very friendly. Not just at Tokyo Disney, but throughout Japan, people are very friendly and willing to help you out, even if you don't speak Japanese. I think you should learn a few phrases in Japanese. That's just a good rule of thumb, learning how to say please and thank you, asking where the toilet is, things of that, like very simple things. You don't really need to go more than that if you're just visiting. I do have a video that I've done, like some essential phrases. I'll pop it up on the screen if you want to learn some Japanese, some basic phrases. You can head on over there and hear me speak Japanese if you want. But overall, at Tokyo Disney Resort, all the signage, a lot of the menus are in English, so navigating that kind of stuff is not hard. If you can read English, you're going to be totally fine. Now, a lot of the attractions, most of them are in Japanese, so the dialogue and stuff is in Japanese. A lot of announcements are in Japanese, but some announcements, like very important ones, will also be in English and other languages, so you don't really have to worry about that there. In terms of communicating with cast members, don't expect cast members to speak English. Not everybody does, but don't let that deter you. Again, people are very friendly, and knowing like one or two words is very helpful. And there may be a lot of, pointing at menus and hand gestures and stuff, but you're going to be fine. I'm just giving you that reassurance. You are going to be perfectly fine. You're not going to have any troubles navigating. Now, if you do need to communicate something maybe a little bit more complex, then I recommend using something like Google Translate, or I prefer DeepL, which I personally think is much better at translating than Google Translate. If you need to translate something a little bit more complex, you can talk into it and it'll translate into Japanese, and then you can have the cast members speak Japanese into it and it'll translate it to English. So you can get some communication figured out there. There should be cast members that speak English at the hotels. So they usually have somebody that does speak English there, and you may encounter people here and there within the park that speak English, but again, don't expect everybody to. But again, you're gonna be fine. Trust me, you will be fine. Are you okay? Yeah, I know, I threw a lot at you, but don't worry. Just remember, have fun. You're gonna have fun. And just take things as they come. Tokyo Disney Resort is near and dear to my heart, and I know you're gonna have a wonderful time, okay? I just want you to have a good time. I know you will. Also, before you go, If you haven't already, you can check our guidebook. I made a guidebook on Tokyo Disney Resort. It's up on our website, tdrexplorer.com/books. And you can also check the link in the description as well. It covers the stuff that I talked about here, plus tons more in more depth. So make sure you go and check it out. Talk about the hotels, food, what to do in the parks, all that stuff. It's all there for you, beautifully laid out. I'm very proud of it, and I know it's going to help you. So yeah, you're in good hands. You really are. Just have fun and make sure you eat all the honey popcorn for me, okay? And say hello to Winnie the Pooh on Pooh's Honey Hunt. And also tell Chandu I love him, because I love him so much. He's so cute. Please make sure you tell Chandu I love him. Okay, have fun, and I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye.